Nonfiction. Where does it fall into my own reading life? Where might it fall into yours? Is there some place it should be in yours? Are you reading too much nonfiction or not enough? We're going to explore some of that today because it's Tuesday. It's Tag Tuesday, and this is the Nonfiction Book Tag. Hello, my fellow readers. My name is Greg, and this is Ghost Readers in the Sky. The Nonfiction Book Tag. This was created by Mike at Bibliophile Reads. I was tagged by Alan at Alan's Reads. There are 11 prompts. Let's get started. Prompt number 1. What originally made you interested in reading nonfiction? When I was young-ish, 8, 9, 10 years old, somewhere in there, my family bought the World Book Encyclopedia, the whole set. And I used to love just picking a topic out of the World Book and reading about it. I was very much encouraged by my dad, who the best advice he ever gave me when I would ask him a question about something, I don't know, what do giraffes eat? He would say, the World Book's right over there, go look it up. And I did, and I learned how to do research, and I learned how to come to conclusions and how to filter out the things that didn't answer my questions. It's a great skill. It's a skill that I still use, well, every single day. But I think that World Book Encyclopedia really got me started. Prompt 2. Do you read nonfiction mainly for curiosity, learning, or enjoyment? I think those kind of go together. I think I usually start with curiosity. That curiosity leads to learning, and through learning, that brings about enjoyment or agitation. Prompt 3. What topic could you read endless nonfiction about? For me, that's the history of the American West. There are so many interesting topics within. You got clashes between races, certainly between the whites and the Native Americans, conflicts amongst the various Native American tribes, conflicts with whites primarily, and the Mexicans who were part of Mexico until the Mexican-American War, when the northern part of Mexico was annexed and became part of the United States. You've got the kind of individualist ideas versus the corporations. You've got the exploration and discovery, or at least the first time things were written down. I think that's a better way to say it. The first time things were written down about particular areas. Obviously, the natives who lived in the Yellowstone area knew about Yellowstone, but reading those early reports from the European explorers who were just completely, totally surprised and kind of scared of this area. It's great stuff. Of course, you have the corporations coming in, you have the settlement of first villages and towns, and then the building of cities. You've got the Chinese immigrants, you've got the construction of the railroads. There is so much diversity just within the American West. However you define the American West. I have ideas about that, and we can do a whole nother video about that if you want to, maybe as we get closer to June on the Range. Prompt number 4. How do you usually discover nonfiction books? These days it's BookTube. Number 5, do you follow authors or topics when choosing nonfiction? Yes, I am usually starting from either a topic that I already know something about or an author who I've read and I have liked the way they explain things, even if they go through a bunch of different kinds of topics and perspectives. So usually I'm starting from somewhere I know. It's rare that I would read something that is completely outside my knowledge at the time by an author who I've never heard of. My entry points to new topics almost always come through authors I already know and love. Prompt number 6. What nonfiction book stuck with you long after reading? I would probably say Desert Solitaire by Edward Abbey. There are so many thought-provoking ways of looking at nature and how man has encroached upon nature and wilderness and how deserts are treated, as well as just some incredible stories about hiking through the desert, primarily of Utah, of rafting the Grand Canyon. So many wonderful parts of nature and environmentalism and maybe philosophy to explore. And I think about that book often. Prompt 7. What topic have you learned the most about through books? I would say it's Scotland, Scottish history and Scottish culture. I have Scottish ancestry. At least some of my ancestors came from Scotland. Almost everything I know about Scotland has come through books. Certainly is not from direct experience. Prompt 8. What nonfiction book made you curious about something unexpected? I'm going to go with a book written by Michael Pollan. I've read a number of his books and I always find them really interesting and really informative. But the one that just knocked my socks off was How to Change Your Mind. What the new science of psychedelics teaches us about consciousness, dying, addiction, depression, and transcendence. So Michael Pollan, he went through a lot of the history of psychedelics with Timothy Leary and Ram Dass before he became Ram Dass, and how LSD in particular was developed. But then he also talks about things like peyote and those frogs that you can lick because they exude a psychedelic system. I fully don't understand that biology. Mushrooms, lots of different psychedelic options and I love the title, How to Change Your Mind. And he walks through his own experiences with going on psychedelic trips through different avenues. And he talks about how to be safe when doing it. He talks about the way that he finds his guides, and then he talks about the LSD and the peyote and the mushroom experiences. He talks about the history and the politics of LSD, and he talks a lot about the potential medical innovations and true helpfulness that we could, as humans, be using LSD to help fight depression and other mental illnesses, to fight addiction, but we don't. And well, that's that. Anyway, I have never done LSD or any other psychedelic, but it gave me some good guidelines so that if I decide I want to try something someday, I know how to find a guide. I know how to find a safe place to be, and how to experience that psychedelia in a safe and useful way, so that it does enhance my experience and not be detrimental. So no bad trips. Prompt number 9. What topic would you recommend everyone explore at least once? I think everyone should find something they enjoy, and then should find nonfiction that relates to that interest. I don't think that humans have enough shared experiences and shared culture and shared values for me to say everyone would love Bill Bryson's A Walk in the Woods. There are a lot of people who would like that book, but to say everyone should explore the Appalachian Trail, or everyone should explore the biology of bears, or these are, I don't think there's anything that everybody should try, but everybody should try nonfiction. And start with something that you already either love or are already curious about. That's the best way. If you're not reading nonfiction, that's the best way to get started. Prompt number 10. What nonfiction book would you recommend to curious readers? Almost echoing the last prompt, I have lots of recommendations based on specific interests, but I need to know the reader. I need to know what the reader enjoys doing, enjoys reading about, what they have read and what they haven't, how new are they to nonfiction, what do they already know about this topic, and then I have a lot of really good ideas in many different fields that I can recommend something. Yeah, so if you want my opinion about what you should read for nonfiction, let's have a conversation. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like, and I'll come up with some good ideas, best I know how. And the last prompt, prompt 11. What nonfiction book would you give someone who says they don't like nonfiction? I don't know. Again, I would have to know the person and what they like reading, what they like doing. And then I think I could find something to help them ease into nonfiction, probably something that was more narrative. But it's really hard to just suggest one thing for somebody who says they don't like nonfiction. Because if I pick a topic or an author or a book with the length or the pace or the writing that's just wrong, I don't want people to get a bad impression of nonfiction because I gave them a poor example of what I thought everybody would like. I do have some, I did go through and find, these are all real books. I would not recommend these nonfiction books to anyone, but I wanted to share them with you. So this is what I would not suggest. First one, Crafting with Cat Hair. Cute handicrafts to make with your cat. No. Number 2, Goblin Proofing One's Chicken Coop. And other practical advice in our campaign against the fairy kingdom. Number 3, Talks with Trees. A plant psychic's interviews with vegetables, flowers, and trees. No. No. Number 4, it's called How Green Were the Nazis? Nature, Environment, and Nation in the Third Reich. No. And number 5, The Beginner's Guide to Sex in the Afterlife. An exploration of the extraordinarily potential of sexual energy. No. No. This was a fun tag. I'll tag some other people and see if we can get some other folks to do the nonfiction book tag. I do love reading nonfiction, and I have found a lot of books that I really love. And I'm glad I got to share some of that with you. Some of my ideas about how to get started if you're just starting. Thanks so much for joining me today and for watching this video. I really appreciate your support of me and this channel. And until next time, my name is Greg, and this is Ghost Readers in the Sky.
Yippee!